Hey YouTube, what is going on? Carter here. Well, this is going to be kind of my official review on the Cold Steel G10 Talwar 4-inch version. By no means is this going to be a comprehensive review on Aussate steel, the triad lock, or anything like that. It's just more specific to the features on this particular Cold Steel knife. And I mention that because Cold Steel, much like maybe Emerson, they carry a lot of their traits over in every model. You're going to see the triad lock almost everywhere. Everything is Aussate steel. So performance, characteristics, things like that are very similar amongst the models, but there are specific things to each model that's worth noting. So that's mainly what I'm going to focus on. I've carried this for the last few days. I've used it for various tasks, and I feel that I can kind of give a good perspective on this knife, especially if you're just simply looking for some information before possibly buying one. First off, let's talk about some quick little specs here. I already mentioned Aussate steel, 4-inch blade. This also comes in a 5.5-inch version. At the time of recording of this video, that is not yet available. Only the 4-inch version in plain or serrated are available. Aussate steel, full flat grind. I believe this would still classify as full flat grind. It is a flat grind and it does go all the way to the top. It does kind of have this mid swedge cut out, but other than that, it's basically a full flat grind. 4 millimeters thick at the spine, but it does taper lengthwise as well as width on that blade there. Nice satin finish, kind of one of the unique characteristics of this knife. We're used to seeing either a Teflon black coating or a bead blast coating, so it's nice to see a satin finish. Thumb disc right here. This also works as a wave feature. It is not officially licensed from Emerson, however, but it does function as a wave feature, and it doesn't do it by catching your pocket underneath this gap here. It does it by this gap on each side, and it does it very, very well. Very well. In fact, this waves better than Emerson's that I have, and I think it's because of how it sticks out widthwise here as opposed to just trying to catch the fabric underneath this lip here. Works really well. Waves easily, pretty much almost 100% of the time. If I'm trying to wave it, it'll wave out of my pocket. Triad lock, as usual, satin finish on the triad lock. It does have jimping on the back here, which is a little bit different, and we'll compare it to a Recon 1 here shortly so you can see what I mean. This is kind of a Persian style blade, but what I like about this is it's not too Persian-y. It's not overly Persian-y. I know that's a technical knife term, and what I mean by that is it's got kind of a Persian flair, Persian styling to it, but it's not. I mean, it's still very practical and very usable. You've got this nice belly right here. It's an excellent slicer. I cut up some fruit with this thing and it was like a laser. Nice thin edge, razor sharp out of the box. Really, really sharp. Insanely sharp, really. I'll go that far. I'll call it insanely sharp. Nice thin tip without being, too fragile. But yeah, so great piercer, great slicer. This would just work well as an all-around knife. And I think that's where this really shines. It fits in kind of a tactical use perspective, if that's your thing, but it also works very well as a utility knife for general cutting. It'll slice through things really well. Cuts paper like a dream, cuts cardboard like a dream. Really great blade profile for that kind of use. Ergonomics are top-notch. It's a little thin right here, but you get used to it. And yeah, there's no hot spots. It just grips the hand so well. As you can see, fits right in. And it has kind of your usual Cold Steel purchase in that you've got this finger guard right here as well as on the back here. So it really locks you in. Aside from the really grippy G10 they use, you are locked into this bad boy very well. Lanyard hole, aluminum, I believe. Backspacer here, and which is necessary for the function of the triad lock. It's not, it's kind of a stiff lock. It's not too bad though. I've had worse, but I've also had less stiff as well. Solid lock up, left, right, up, down. I mean, it's completely, it feels like one unit when this thing locks up, which is characteristic of the triad lock. Probably the thing that is most impressive with this knife, as well as a lot of Cold Steels, whether you like them or not, whether you think their marketing is too over the top, if you think they're too mall ninja-y, or whatever the case may be, you know, one thing that always impresses me with Cold Steel is their strength to weight ratio in their knives. This is a 4-inch blade knife that is rock solid. I mean, I would put this up in terms of lock strength and knife strength. I'd put this up almost against anything, and yet it only weighs 5 ounces. It is a very lightweight knife, and it's also perfectly balanced. You can see right there on that front finger choil, perfectly balanced. It feels really good in the hand. Some people like heavier knives. It makes them feel, you know, more secure with the knife, makes them feel like they've got something more substantial. So if that's the case, you may pick this up and it may be too light for you. And the reason for that is there's no liners, skeletonized or not. It's just really thick slabs of G10 right there. You've got aluminum back here, you know, small steel pocket clip. Comes with the secondary one for left-hand carry. By the way, this is completely ambidextrous. Doesn't matter if you're left hand or right hand. This is going to work the exact same for you. But because of all those features, as well as the thin flat ground blade with you know, the swedge taken out at the top, it just makes for a very lightweight knife. So you're carrying a 4 inches of blade, and it's going to feel like nothing in your pocket at all. It is pretty impressive. I haven't been this impressed with a Cold Steel knife. I don't know if I've ever really been. It's simple. It's, like I said, lightweight, strong. It's going to cut great, but it's still got that kind of cool factor. It's somewhat menacing looking, you know, which I don't care who you are. That's just kind of cool, as long as it doesn't take away from functionality. And I think that's where this really shines. Great in reverse grip. Just awesome blade, awesome blade. I don't know about the 5.5 inch, might be a little too big, but I know a lot of you out there really would like to see a 3.5 inch blade. Maybe that'll come out. But yeah, I am very impressed with this. There's really nothing that I can complain about on this knife, at least in terms of, you know, what it is. Its price point, and, you know, it is made in Taiwan. It's not a US made knife. Well, speaking of the price point, it is a little high right now, around $80. Now, in my mind, this, you know, is right there along with the Recon 1 series. So really it should be priced around $65, $70. And I'd imagine that price is going to be where it settles. You got to remember, this just came out. Retailers are still kind of feeling how well these are going to sell, what kind of price they can get for them. So they price them kind of high. So if you want one right now, you know, out the gate, I mean, these just came out. If you want one right now, you're going to pay a little bit more for it. However, if you want to wait a few months, I'm sure the price will kind of come down to something more in line with Recon 1. I saw the same thing when the Recon 1 spear point came out. It was priced higher than all the other blade shapes, even though it's the exact same knife, just different blade shape, because it was newer and more in demand. You know, they're going to ask for more money. So if you do think this is priced too high for you, you know, just keep your eye on it. I'm sure it'll come down to something a little bit more in line to what you see from Cold Steel. Because yeah, $80 for, I don't know, for what it is. It's hard to say though. You know, it's a very, there's not a lot to it, and yet it's kind of awesome in its simplicity, if that makes sense. Alright guys, that's it. Oh wait, I haven't done my comparisons. Let's take a look here with a Recon 1. You can see it's about the same size. And the jimping I wanted to point out, you can see in the Recon 1, it has the same exact grooves cut out, but only on the G10, not on the lock back. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a change that they make across the board or not. And real quick, before my camera dies, here is a Para 2 comparison. Alright guys, take it easy. Have a good one.